clicks between joints in the crack. There would be a click, and then a year would go by, and then there would be another click. And this shows that like time is relative, and just it's all like it's relative to where you are and like what you can see, and like obviously a year didn't go by between the time that the clicks happened, but for Billy, he was in a boxcar, it was in the dark, he didn't like know where, like, so time is relative to, you know, where you are. And then he also says when they stop the boxcar, he says that Billy didn't want to drop from the car to the ground. He sincerely believed that he would shatter like glass. So the guards helped him down, cooing still. They set him face down facing the train. It was such a dinky train now. So like when he was in it, he didn't want to get off it at all. But when he got off it, it was such a dinky train, and like just shows that everything is relative, which is apparent throughout the rest of the book and a little bit in this chapter. And then the next theme in this chapter, the next main theme would be the idea of innocence and paradise, where so it comes up at the end of the chapter mainly, but he says the naked Americans took their places under many shower heads along a white tiled wall. There were no faucets they could control. They could only wait for whatever was coming. Their penises were shriveled and their balls were retracted. Reproduction was not the main business of the evening. An unseen hand turned a master valve. Out of the shower heads gushed scalding rain. And Billy zoomed back in time to his infancy. He was a baby who had just been bathed by his mother. Billy gurgled and cooed. And so the fact that they're naked in the camp is kind of a sign of innocence, because it's like not it's like purity, and like Adam and Eve were naked in the Garden of Eden when they were there. And then he says that reproduction was not the main business of the evening, which kind of hints at like paradise and like before society began. And then he zooms back into his infancy, where he was being bathed. When the water turns on, he zooms back into his infancy, where he's being bathed by his mother, and he was happy. And then it also discusses, or it also explores innocence in paradise, when he repeatedly says, the guards cooed like doves, and opened the doors for the prisoners, still cooing. And then he keeps saying the guards were cooing, which hints that they were babies, and like that they were more innocent, and that they really like weren't German guards like you would think of. Like they were just innocent. And then the final thing would be his allusion to the Bible. He directly alludes to Adam and Eve when he says,
You're not charging it, Peter.
Charlie, one sec, pal. One sec. Charlie, I need to do this. Can you please go back upstairs?
I need it back.
I'm gonna give it to you I'm gonna give it to you shortly. I love you. Go back upstairs.
Okay, but make sure you charge it.
I will.
Because how much percent is it?
It's like
About
4, I
1 or
think.
2?
I think it's 4. Please go. Okay, thank you.
Okay, we'll charge it.
Got
before
it.
runs out.
Got it. Okay.
And I miss.
Sorry. Gosh. Okay. So he alludes to the Bible in Adam and Eve when he says he's watching the documentary and it's moving backwards in time, and it says that wasn't in the movie. He's talking about the how he it was imagining Hitler as a baby, and then how he was imagining the whole biological people processes like conspiring to produce. Okay, so here it is. He says that wasn't in the movie. Billy was extrapolating. Everybody turned into a baby, and all humanity, without exception, conspired biologically to produce two perfect people named Adam and Eve, he supposed. Which he's talking about the documentary moving backwards, and then just takes it a step farther, which is interesting, and just hints, just like references Adam and Eve and like their paradise. If it was just without war, possibly, if everything was moving backwards, then maybe we would arrive at innocence and paradise, which is what Adam and Eve basically symbolize in literature and stuff. And then, okay, so for rhetorical analysis of this chapter and the rest of the book, Vonnegut is known for his satire and his dark humor, and he illustrates. So the documentary is a key point in the chapter, and he describes it as factories were opening night and day, dismantling the cylinders, separating the dangerous contents into minerals. Touchingly, it was mainly women who did this work, which is... So he's making fun of the process in which we are trying to like kill people, but he's doing it in reverse so that it seems helpful and like good, but it's pretty dark because they're assembling like mass weapons to kill people. But he does it he satirizes it by taking it backwards to really make his point, which it's, in my opinion, is very effective. And then he says the quote about the bombers. The bombers opened their bomb bay doors, exerted a miraculous magnetism which shrunk the fires, gathered them into cylindrical steel containers, and lifted the containers into the bellies of the planes.